Welcome to the Game of Risk, everyone. I'm your host, OliveXC, a top player at this game, back at you with some classic fixed. This was originally an 80-minute game played on my Twitch stream that I edited it down for YouTube viewing pleasure. When I look at this game right here, I realize that I do not have a lot of options available for myself. While a lot of my troops are in Europe, I feel that the yellow player should be going for that region. Because look, they're consolidating all of their troops right away. And what I also find really unfortunate is the black player decides to go for South America, you guys, even though I left my troops first in Argentina. And what is also compounding the issue is now the green player decides just to bot out and not even play this game right now. And as I look at the other players, the orange player should be going for North America. They were given a very strong setup this game. The white player should be going for Australia. I would love if the black player was going for Africa. Because again, they have so many troops there. At this point though, I'm just kind of in a situation where I'm kind of forced to go for South America. I can't change my plans, right? I mean, I have a large number of troops in Asia, but it's blocked by the green bot as well as the black 8 troops. I can't go for Europe. I would be in conflict with the yellow player, and they have way too many troops. I am in a situation where I am forced to go for South America. But this is not necessarily the worst thing in the world for a couple of reasons. One is the black player chose not to be getting any cards their first turn, so they're one card behind the other players. And secondly, I am before the black player in the turn order. This is important because I will be able to consolidate my troops and get the first set before the black player, most likely. And then I'll be able to hopefully press my advantage for South America. Orange, by the way, I think it's just starting to take a little bit too long into getting a North America. Unfortunately, there's a lot of really big territories that they need to hit, but they really need to be kind of I think pressing their advantage soon. I think next turn they need to hit the white 4, and then consolidate the troops and get ready to hit the 5. If they continue to take too long, I feel like they're just going to be in a bad shape. But oh no, you guys. The black player is going all in on taking South America, and the conflict between us is growing really, really hard. I think we have an opportunity, though, for ourselves. And what I realized that we can do this game is that, given that the yellow player has moved in all of their troops out of Africa, and the white player has moved in their troops out of Africa, I can take the Africa continent. This is the concept of continental drift. When you can't go for one continent, you go for another one instead. The orange player, though, makes another fortification mistake where they did not move their 16 fully away. And again, this is going to make it harder for them to eventually take and hold North America for themselves. So now what I'm doing is I'm talking to the black player, and I'm pointing at my arrow at them. I'm telling them they need to attack their territory. I want them to move out of the way. What I'm also noticing is the black player isn't really, or since they're destined to be going for South America, what I'm hoping that I can do is I go into North Africa, and I can also move my troops out of Europe. The yellow player could have hit my bigger stack at any time, but they're taking the alliance very seriously between us. So if I'm able to move my troops out of the way, I can be in a really good spot. Also notice when looking at my cards, I did not have a set on 4 cards, which was so rough, you guys, when that happened. And I'm really worried for myself if I'm going to be able to stay alive this game or not. But yellow is now finally going to be able to take and hold Europe. And what I'm hoping now for black is able to do is that they should now be able to take over South America. So the black player puts down their troops. Are they finally going to take the region? And yes, they do. They do end up taking over South America, you guys. And now we can see the white player is making a little bit of a mistake right now. You notice they have 28 troops in Australia. They've been building up these troops for a long period of time. But guys, no one can potentially be contesting them for Australia. They would have to go through my 3 as well as multiple troops of the bot to even hit them. By them taking the continent really late, they're losing out on the territory bonus, allowing them to grow strong within the game. This time I'm debating if I should be trying to take out a player. I decide not to, instead just consolidating and getting my continent. The reason why I decided not to be taking out a player is the yellow player could then proceed to eliminate me from the game right afterwards, and then be in a dominating position into the 3-player endgame scenario where they have a large number of continents and territories. The white player is stuck behind a large number of bots, and the orange player frankly doesn't know about what to do. The black player makes a little bit of a peculiar move where they decide to go through North America to consolidate all of their troops together, which again just I don't think made a lot of sense. And guys, the white player is still not taking over Australia. Again, that's more troops that they have lost. Oh my goodness. The orange player trades and they decide to hit my 4 in Japan. While this is kind of annoying, I'm still on 40 troops. I am at a healthy total right now. I am pretty strong at the moment, but I'm not definitely the strongest one in the game. What I would love to happen now is for a couple of turns for yellow to gain additional strength. And then I would like it if they started pressing their advantage, attacking probably the orange player, who's going to be the weakest one in this game without a continent. Really, I think white now is kind of prolonging the game because orange player cannot be eliminated until white takes over Australia. And they're still not doing it, you guys. Like, I am absolutely flipping incredulous at this point that white is not doing this. Again, they've lost so many troops this game. There is a time to generally wait before taking over a continent. The best time to be doing this is to take a continent is when you have your first set trade-in, when you can have like a good 15 to 20 troops in one army in a neutral location to be able to attack someone that retaliates against you. So I'm debating to trade in and use up my wild, but again, I decided to see I'm only at 44 troops. I finally have a good set, but I'm just trying to save everything right now and waiting for the right opportunity for myself. It sucks. Even though I have a continent, I still feel like I'm behind in troops. I'm hoping that yellow eventually does something, but the black player doesn't even go for an attack again. Again, there's been a lot of stalemating this game, but I'm just waiting for my right opportunity. And this just goes to show an important principle of the game. You want to be attacking very aggressively when you are strong player, like if I was a yellow player. But if you're like a middling to weaker player, it's good to be more passive and wait for the strong player to be doing something in order to advance the game. As it's only going to get more and more painful if orange continually generates more and more troops. I decided to trade in, by the way, and make a little bit of an aggressive move attacking the white player because at this point I want the game to develop a little bit and I want the yellow player to be doing something in order to hopefully advance the game as well. What they maybe could have done, yellow, is like leave some troops down, but oh no, you guys, the black player decided to break me and the yellow at the same time. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was so annoying. Because now because of really bad trade-ins for myself, I'm getting really weak. Not enough to be eliminated for sure. I feel very safe at the moment. But what I'm hoping to have happen is if black does not invade me again, I'm just in a position where I have to keep on consolidating my troops waiting for the right opportunity to be able to take someone like I out, but we can see because the yellow player has really consolidated their gains so far. They are at 74 troops right now. They are in such a commanding lead. And now, inexplicably, I could not believe that this happened. The black player decides to hit the green player, and oh, I was so annoyed about this. Like, I knew they just made a mistake because again, their mechanical skills were just not like really high. But due to the mistake like that they made, I'm now forced to break them again, and I'm now becoming one of the weakest players on this board. The orange player as well is now able to take over North America, and honestly, leaving that stack there has proven to be very, very threatening to the black player. So I retake over Africa, because again, I think the black player recognizes that they just made a little bit of a mistake right there. And what I'm hoping to have happen is like maybe the yellow player does something, maybe they attack green and open up the board a little bit, but guys, the black player goes in and makes the attack on orange. Orange is so weak right now on 30 troops. And what I'm trying to do is just asking the yellow player to please eliminate another player from this game. It is just really dumb for them to not be eliminating someone right now. They have more troops than most of the other players right now. They're 57. They can trade in their set of 10 cards, attack the 14 and 11, and do a tremendous amount of damage eliminating the other players and just advance the game. The white player, by splitting out their troops, is not going to be attacking anyone either. So I'm just hoping and praying that the yellow player finally goes in for the attack, taking out a player. But the yellow player instead decides to do a thumbs down. And while they have a really nice number on their portal, it's not nice because now they're going to be prolonging the game a little bit right here. Some players choose to not be like attacking a lot because they hope that the other players will destroy each other. However, this decision doesn't really work out very well because other players want to wait for the strongest player to act, leading to a game of stalemate, which really isn't fun for the other players. The black player now gives up because they realize that they're just in a really, really weak situation this game. In orange now, like, they can't really get their continent, right? If they attack the 19, they're just going to be eliminated the next turn. And now at this point, because the yellow player is at least communicating with me, I see an opportunity, and I decide to take out the 11. I had a bad roll, but what I want to have happen is I want the yellow player to eliminate the orange player from the game. They're on 30 troops. The yellow player is 20 to 30 troops ahead of the other players. If they keep on waiting like this, all they're going to do is let the game stalemate out infinitum. White, by the way, is being super duper annoying, just holding on to their additional territories right now, trying to have one additional per turn with big stacks going. This is a really bad strategy. It's better to keep the majority of your troops in one army to be able to attack around the map as necessary when you're doing Classic Fixed. So I was debating if I should be like kind of trading in or attacking black or eliminating someone from the game, but I decided against it and to move my troops into North Africa and hoping to maybe like take out like a black like more decisively. And finally, the yellow player does something, you guys. They attack the white player, and they also eliminate the orange player from the game. And they get so many cards. They have 8 cards, and they're going to have 20 troop trade-in. And they are on 98 troops right now, you guys. And this is where the title of the video comes from. The vast majority of the remaining part of this game is me being in a very challenging 3-player situation with the yellow player. I was stuck on trying to figure out, Should I work with the white player this game or work with the yellow player? Now, the yellow player is very, very strong right now, but the yellow player is also communicating with me. And looking back on it, may not have been the best decision, but I felt like I can predict what the yellow player was going to do. I could not predict what the white player was going to do, and that was what the danger was, like this game. So I basically, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And in this case, I felt like I could potentially defeat yellow in the long term by working with them this game, taking out an unnoble force white, and the noble force which is yellow. It probably made the game a little bit longer as a result, but I'd rather get a win from a safety perspective than to try to risk ruining like my game and having the yellow player potentially self-destruct into me, especially as we've been allies all this time. A lot of times players, if you ally with them for such a long time and then you backstab them, if you're unable to eliminate them from the game, they just may take it very personally and emotionally and may choose to self-destruct into you, ruining each other's games, and would have just given the victory to the white player. So now we're in this really good kind of like situation, and I'm trying to think about how I may be able to potentially advance the game. So I'm just making a couple of attacks in a row on the white player. I'm not getting the best rolls in the world, and it just really, really sucks, you guys. I really, really want to be able to get the advantage going for myself, but I'm just not sure about what I can do. And now the yellow player is rolling down white a little bit, and they're actually getting some pretty good rolls right now, but they still have that 16 troop lead. So white is just making a couple of attacks, and I'm wondering if I should be eliminating the yellow player right now. And I decided against it, no, because they had too many troops, and instead I decided to take out the black player because I would be able to trade in twice on that turn. And by making the trade in, I'm now going to be able to hold Africa and South America. And what I'm hoping is eventually the yellow player will take over Europe, and we can each hold 2 strong continents for ourselves, being very powerful. Since the white player is basically on a 2-on-1 between the yellow player and me, what we're hoping to do is eventually isolate the white player's position within India, and once they have very few troops left and available to themselves, that yellow and I can then throw troops into them, eliminating them from the game. So I don't go for the attack right now because yellow is just really, really strong. If they really want to take the alliance seriously, they need to be making an attack right now. And they do make the attack, which I was really happy to see. The yellow player is still 1 card ahead. There's still 14 troops ahead, but they are at least making the attack, which I certainly do appreciate. The white player, though, is obviously very upset about this, and now they are making several attacks against the yellow player, taking over North America and reclaiming South America. They make a mechanical mistake, though, leaving a large part of their army trapped in the Japan region. So what I decide to do now is to take over South America and leave a small guard on Brazil. I then take over some territories, but not all of them, so that the yellow player will be able to take out the top part of North America if they want to, all within a line and all only hitting the white player. White, though, still has a lot of territories, and oh my gosh, it did the 4v4. Since I have noticed that the white player does lack a little bit of like a mechanical skill, they haven't really understood dice roll percentages. 4v4 is a very unlikely roll to succeed, and I calculated that since that roll was more likely to fail, that it would be like alright. I now here I'm doing a little bit of a technique that you could do to try to break the balance of the game in these really tough 3-player endgame scenarios. What I am doing is I'm trying to take over a large amount of territory on the board, because after you have over 12 territories, you get 1 extra troop for every 3 extra territories that you have. That can really add up over time. What I also like seeing is that the yellow player is making another big attack on the white player. Now yellow and I have around the same number of troops, which is really good for both of us. So I am just retaking over my regions because I know the white player is going to be turning in a set, so I'm not trying to defend anything else right now. But white does have the set, but you can see it right now, guys, because yellow and I are working together slowly but surely, white is now going to be falling behind and taking damage. Like, they can't keep attacking both of us like this. This is why I wanted to partner with the yellow player over the white player. The white player would try to act indiscriminately to maintain the balance of the game, whereas the white player would take the alliance seriously, and we could work together in order to advance the game. This is why I was very, very happy to be working with yellow in the long term instead. Although yellow, through all like the white's attacks and bonuses, still has the lead over me in troops. What I'm hoping happens now is the white player finally eliminates green from the game, which they do, and they end up breaking both the yellow player and me. And see, all these extra territories, I'm getting 6 to 7 troops a turn. And now by turning in my set, I am a little bit ahead of the yellow player. And now that the white player has been broken, what I'm hoping happens now is that the yellow player leaves a large number of troops on southern Europe, and this will prevent the white player from being able to break our bonuses anymore. Since I have 22 territories, I'm going to have a huge territory lead over yellow, giving me some additional troops and hopefully closing the advantage. But white, though, is basically taking away that whole point and hilariously ends up taking over Asia. Obviously, I'm not going to let them hold Asia, and I decided to attack the 5, because again, I thought they hit me pretty hard right here. I was hoping by attacking the 5 that the yellow player would also proceed to make a move attacking the white player. But yellow was just thinking really hard and just choosing to take 1 card and pass. While I love having the yellow player as an ally, they have been proving to be very passive this game, which has made working with them very, very challenging. And now white. Is white going to be taking over North America? They choose not to, but they are being more aggressive attacking my territory than over the yellow player's bonus for themselves. So again, I'm asking yellow to attack white, because good luck, white is only on 40 troops. It's been a very slow but steady grind, because again, white really gets the balance of this game. But I'm really hoping that if I can play like my cards right, that we can eventually take this game. White is now only on 34 troops right now, with 1 big army left. I keep thinking to myself if I should be potentially attacking the yellow player, and with my additional troop bonuses, getting a decisive lead for myself. Again, though, I decide against it, just again taking over some small white territories and leaving my troops within the Africa region. And by having these light borders, I'm still keeping my lead, but now the balance is getting so tenuous. The yellow player and I have almost a 100 troop lead over the white player. With some good attacker's advantage and solid execution of strategy, we may be able to take the game. And if I had a set, one thing looking back on this game is I was wondering if I traded in my set, if I could have been potentially taking out the yellow player right here, but I just felt as though it wasn't the right time. But for the yellow player, it was the right time, you guys. They are going in and they are attacking the white player. They do make a slider blitz mistake, though, making a lot of attacks. And they've eliminated white. They're going to get a trade-in. They're equal to me in troops, and they have attacker's advantage on my army. Oh my gosh, did I lose this endgame? Is the yellow player going to win? I lost 75 troops. The yellow player is 20 troops ahead right now. And the yellow player said, good game, well played. Well, yellow, you're a great opponent, but I am the 1v1 champion. I decide to make a play to take over 4 continents and taking over the fact that yellow's 20 is trapped. The mistake that I made, though, is I wasn't considering the portals. The yellow player does some incredible pathing right now, and they broke all of my continents. And now I am unable to get a good territory and continental bonus. I do, however, have the set. I go in for the attack. I lose 11 troops on the 11. But now I knew my prior mistake. I am now focused on clogging up the portals and preventing the yellow player from getting easy access. And guys, the yellow player doesn't have the set on 4. We are so lucky. We are now owning North and South America and 29 territories. Yellow, if they just left their 20 away, they could have taken the game. But now we take the attacker's advantage on the 23 and we get a good roll. I can't believe this, you guys. And now the yellow player has their one final attack, but while they break everything, we can just trade in and take it all back. Guys, this was an incredible game. If you're enjoying this content, please consider subscribing. But with that, this is OliveXC signing off.